In March 2022, Russia's attempt to invade northern Ukraine failed as videos showed their top tanks being destroyed by anti-tank weapons. Attack helicopters and aircraft were limited by surface-to-air missiles, making anti-tank guided missiles and precision artillery more effective. Despite this, Ukraine is still seeking high-quality tanks like the Abrams and German Leopard, indicating the tank's continued importance in battle. Poor tactics and preparation, along with a mobile and motivated defense, hindered the Russian tank drive towards Kiev. Tanks are crucial for gaining and taking territory, providing protection for infantry and allowing for indirect fires. As the war continued, tanks became essential for offensive and defensive operations on both sides. The Army Armored Corps has the Abrams tank, which has been upgraded over time but is still relatively old technology. It has a 1500 HP engine and a 120 mm main gun. Crew training makes it the most lethal thing on today's battlefield. The most advanced version is the Abrams M1A2 SEP V3, which costs around $11 million. Nearly 10,000 Abrams tanks have been produced since its inception, and the SEP V4 is in development and could be operational by 2025. Tanks are important for gaining territory against entrenched adversaries, but lighter vehicles like mobile protected firepower and robotic combat vehicles can be useful against dispersed adversaries. The Army is adding a 38-ton light tank to its inventory, with a cost of $12.8 million per vehicle initially. The Abrams X is a high-tech concept tank that may not be taking full advantage of new technology and could be vulnerable to mission failures and maintenance issues. Tank losses have been significant in the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Russia has lost around half of its modern tanks, while Ukraine may have lost hundreds. To address this, Ukraine has sought more tanks from Western backers, including Germany, who are preparing to hand over main battle tanks. The US has also announced plans to send M101s to Ukraine, although critics have noted that they are high maintenance and require ample crew training. Germany's Leopard series of tanks, which run on diesel and are easier to maintain, were also considered as an option by the US. US tanks have more armor on the front and less on the sides and rear to avoid being too heavy. Reactive armor and active protection systems are being developed to counter modern anti-tank weapons. Abrams tanks have reactive armor tiles made by Ensign Big and Ford Aerospace and Defense Company. Rafael Advanced Defense Systems and Leonardo DRS have teamed up to equip U.S. Army Abrams with the Trophy APS system, which intercepts incoming anti-tank weapons. These systems have been around for about a decade and are important for tank protection. Unmanned and optionally manned ground vehicles, including tanks, are a potential innovation in land warfare. The U.S. Army has invested in robotic combat vehicles, and companies like Rheinmetall have built semi-autonomous or autonomous armored vehicles that can be controlled remotely or have a person inside. The nature of warfare has evolved to be more violent and technologically oriented. Pentagon planners are focusing on what a war in the Indo-Pacific would look like, where smaller tanks or armored vehicles may be more beneficial than larger ones. The usefulness of tanks in future conflicts is still uncertain, and diplomatic efforts should be prioritized.